Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and I'm here today at the Rock Island Auction Company, where we are taking a look at what appears to be handmade, maybe patent model or prototype model rifle by a Mr. P. Percy of Albany, New York. And it's got 3 triggers, which is a little bit unusual. So, I have absolutely no other information about Mr. Percy. All the searching that I did came up with a complete blank. But it is an interesting example of this is the sort of thing that people produce when they're looking to, largely when they're looking to, say, take a concept and deliver it to someone who might be able to finance its manufacture. So you make up one and you do it by hand, and this is the sort of thing that you get. Let's take a closer look. So the only reason that I know this is actually from Mr. Percy of Albany is this very crude stamping on the top of the action. So P. Percy, I'm not sure if the J is also an initial. It doesn't really look like it. That NY was clearly done with a different stamp than all the rest of it. This thing is really quite crude. So what is it actually? Well, it's a single shot 45 caliber rimfire rifle. We have 3 triggers here because it's a break action system using this trigger. It is also a set trigger design. So in order to, basically to cock it, you use the rear trigger, and to fire it, you use the front one. I can start off with this guy. This is not so much a trigger as a trigger-shaped latch. Push that down, and then the barrel opens. Pretty simple. So I said 45 caliber. It could be 44 caliber. It is a rimfire cartridge, but I don't know exactly which one. In order to extract the thing once it's fired, we have a separate extractor here on the side of the action, and that's just going to pull the case out. And in order to actually fire the thing, it has a very heavy rear trigger, and you can see the front trigger snap just a little bit when I fully cock it, and then that fires it. The idea with a set trigger is that you have a very, very light actual trigger pull, which is rendered safe by having the gun uncocked. Now typically with a set trigger, you can actually fire it with the front trigger even if the rear one isn't cocked, or as they say, set. If you haven't pulled the rear trigger, typically the front trigger just has a much heavier pull, something that's safe. Pulling the rear trigger renders the front one more of a quote-unquote hair trigger. Now this design is a little bit different because you can't fire it at all. This is a cocking lever, and this is the trigger. So let's take a look inside and see how they did that. This is pretty cool inside, actually. I was curious what I would find in here, and I was not let down. One screw, and then we can pull the side plate off, and that gives us, that's different, isn't it? By the way, our cast brass side plate here looks like it was scooped out with a dull spoon or something. That is really crude work on the inside. But let's take this and we can lift it out, and that's pretty nifty. So this is a whole self-contained trigger mechanism. The bottom is, the other part of the receiver there is just as crudely made as the left side. We can set this away. So here's how this system works. We have our cocking trigger back here, connected via linkage to this. That is the actual firing pin. Remember, it's rimfire, so that comes up over the top of the cartridge rim. The main spring here and the trigger return spring. So when I pull this back, it's going to pull this guy backwards. Remember, this is running in a channel, so because I've removed it from the gun, it can kind of flop around. Installed in the gun, it cannot. This is going to go back until this trigger hooks into that little sear notch right there. Right, boop, like that. This spring pushing on this trigger ensures that it does actually push in and catch there. Now I can actually cushion this by holding on here and let it down gently, but that's how that trigger mechanism works. So really actually kind of cool to find a self-contained unit like this inside someone's prototype rifle. It would be cool if we knew more about Percy, like what he was trying to do with this. If this, I suspect this was the system that he was trying to show in this rifle, but it'd be cool to know who he was trying to show it to or even when. I have been unable to find a patent in his name, so I couldn't even tell you exactly what decade. It's clearly after the development of the rimfire cartridge, but before centerfire really became a thing, so probably 1870s to 1890s would be my guess. But that's what we got for you. Well, there you go. There is your prototype rifle for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to follow the Rock Island Auction Company more closely, you can check out their YouTube channel and or Instagram feed. I have links to both in the description text below. Thanks for watching.